Hey YouTube, it's Silverback here again, and I want to talk about Dimir Flash deck I put together with Spectral Sailor, Thieves Guild Enforcer, Fairy Vandal, Mystic Subdual, Omen of the Sea, Threnody Singer, Blacklands Paragon, Cunning Nightbonder, Slither Wisp, Liliana Standard Bearer, Brazen Bower, and one Lockmere Serpent. Um, I have two of Liliana Standard Bearer, three Black Lance Paragon, and the rest of the deck is pretty much similar to what I've been running. The big change here is I took out the Drown in the Locks. I really wanted to have those in as another payoff to playing the Thieves Guild Enforcer from M21. But now I'm starting to be a believer of going back to my old ways and playing no counters in Dimir Flash. Um, and I gotta say, I'm fairly happy with the results. Um, the game I recorded and am featuring maybe not the best example, but it's one I just happened to have recorded during some of my testing, and I thought I'd throw it on there. Um, Liliana Standard Bearer is an awesome card. A lot better than I thought it would be. I initially pegged it as a sideboard card, something we'd put in if we knew we were playing a sweeper heavy deck. Um, that way, if we had it in hand, we could almost commit to the board and never have a worry. We could, again, playing low to the ground spells like we do, we could play out our Cunning Nightbonders, our Thieves Guild Enforcers, our basically everything without feeling bad, minus the Slither Wisp maybe. Because if our board gets wiped, if we lose our 4 or 5 creatures or 3 or 4 creatures that we committed to the board, Liliana Standard Bearer will basically give us those back in card advantage. So if you're playing an opponent who even has answers for everything you're doing, and you play it after they wipe your last creature, you still get to replace that creature. If you have a Slither Wisp to play before it, you'll draw off the Slither Wisp and still get to draw for any creatures that died. It's really good value. I mean, I so far in my testing, and granted it's early, and I think my total testing with this variation of the deck is probably 5 games or less, but I'm still impressed. I like what I see. Um, in this game, we're playing a deck that um, really destroyed our hand, picked it apart pretty quickly, but you'll see that we were able to squeak it out. I'm not going to say it was a convincing win, but a lot of the wins that we get with this or any of my Dimir Flash decks, they're not always convincing. They're very rarely convincing, but we grind them out. We win with 1 life, we win with 2 life, 3 life, but we win nonetheless. And I go back and I look at my recordings and stuff from testing, and I have a pretty good win rate. But again, it's essentially a deck that I've been playing with and working on for since Ikoria released on Magic Arena, so I'm familiar with it. I'm comfortable with it. And for players, I mean, that'd be my biggest recommendation is find a deck that you like and really learn it. Learn the insides and outs of it, and you'll be better for it. You can face people who are playing technically better decks, but if you understand how your deck works, how it wants to win, the synergies, and if you understand your opponent's deck as well, it's an extreme advantage. It's something that can help you win games that maybe you probably wouldn't have. And that's why I like to stay up on all the big decks. I do like to brew and mess around with some things. Again, deciding that I think I want to continue with the YouTube channel, knowing that it'll never get big. I'll never be a big YouTuber, but I'm playing Magic anyway. I'm enjoying doing it. I might as well get a microphone. I've learned some things. I've been testing some editing things, and I've got some ways of doing preview videos now and flashing cards on the screen. Just learning the simple but ideal editor for my situation, and that being the case, I am going through and trying some different things, but um, I'll be showing them soon enough, but I'll also be showing a lot of what I already show too. So here we got emptied out pretty quickly. In our hand we got 6 mana, we got a Slitherwisp and the Liliana Standard Bearer in hand. Our opponent kills our last creature, so at this point I decide to just get the Slitherwisp down and then get the draw from the Standard Bearer as well as from the Slitherwisp. And we hit 2 pretty decent cards. Again, at the time, I was thinking we could get in with the Thieves Guild Enforcer, mill him, get the 3 power, and then get in with the Cunning Nightbonder. Now the thing is, we have to wait until after our turn to do it because we don't want to get wiped again. We want to have those threats out in case Slitherwisp goes away, which it does. And again, that draw right there, counting up the damage in my head, we hit for 3, and then we could possibly hit for 10. But as you can see, our opponent had a good out to keep us from doing that. But the point is, we got an extra card off of the Standard Bearer. It kind of helped us keep the clock, and I am going to catch a game, I'm sure, like I did earlier, where I committed to the board. I had a lot out. I drew the Standard Bearer. My opponent wiped the board. I drew 4 cards off of it, and he couldn't keep up with the advantage. It was like starting the game over again. So really impressed with the Standard Bearer. If anything, I honestly think that's the card, maybe even more so than the Thieves Guild Enforcer. It's still too early to tell. I mean, we just milled another one of his Casualties of War, so that's huge in keeping us in the game. So again, the thought here, we're on our opponent's turn. The thought here was to just get as much damage on the board as we can. We want to try to put it out of reach of our opponent, and I was hoping to mill basically the cards he was looking for. So he plays out the Spiral. I decided to play my last Nightbonder. I was thinking if I drew a Slitherwisp I could regret that, but at this point we've already committed. We draw the Fabled Passage, and I hold it in my hand to fake him out, and he buys into it and scoops. I'm not sure what he's holding, but I hope this shows off kind of what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.